Alrighty. Okay. Today is an earlier start and a shorter stream altogether. So, the biggest thing going on is that I have a family engagement going on later tonight. Um, and I have to drive out to this like family dinner and stuff like that. I actually get to meet my niece in person for the first time today. My sister just flew in, I think 2 days ago, and yeah, so we're gonna have a little family get together, celebrate the baby and all that fun stuff. So let us do some game audio. Because of the shorter stream, I thought maybe try and take care of a couple easy tasks and then do some more dev specific things. Just trying to make a neovim environment that will cater towards a Godot mono sort of workflow. Since literally that's just about everything I need neovim to do for me. And I think the inbuilt text editor, well, it's not just I think, it's pretty clearly stated that the inbuilt Godot text editor is mainly catered towards working with GDScript, and they recommend that if you're going to use C# scripts in a Godot mono project, that you're gonna kind of have a bad time. You're not a bad time. You're just not gonna be able to you're not going to be able to move around your project in the same way that something like a C# project would expect you to. Um, so that's an interesting thing. Um, what else? So that's the bike shedding portion. The first part is some sound design. So there's two areas of sound effects I want to cover, at least basic functionality. Everything so far has been like, let's get a version that works and then move on, rather than let's get a version that's like that one thing that works and they make that one thing really, really good and then not get to the other things. Um, so that's what we're doing today. So the headphones are coming on. Alrighty. The blue sky tweets haven't come out yet. That's how early I started this stream. So that also is something that I'll just do that. Let's see. Do I just have blue sky up on any of these? That's not. Let's see where we're at. Oh, like Mike Bissell. He's cool. Um, let's post. Last bit of basic sound design and bit of product. What do I call rebuilding neovim? I don't think consider it productive in any sense of the word. Um, the last bit of basic sound design and a tiny bit of workflow stuff before I go and meet my niece. Is that too personal? Does anybody care that I'm gonna meet my niece for the first time? Whatever, I'm gonna say it. People can come to the conclusions of what they want. Yeah, does that sound good? Sounds good. That's a post. That's a repost by my other me. Repost. how you know that I'm on the social media game is I'm already botting my own. I'm already creating fake follower accounts. All right. So sound design. The sound design that we're actually taking a look at today is um dialogue. We're gonna do that first, and then we'll do UI because this might take a little bit longer and require a little bit more learning. So when you have a character, they have like portraits and stuff like that. Typing sounds, the sounds of their text as it rolls across the screen. There's a default to this. So this is where we're going to look at some documentation. Ignore the cat screaming in the background. I gave her a snack and she's really excited. I swear we feed her like the appropriate amount. If she overeats, she gets sick. So it's like, okay, you can have like a tiny little snack. I know you're hungry. You literally just ate. Okay, so where are we at here? Godot, dialogic, sounds. Dialogic 2. It must be in the documentation for Dialogic 2. So let's go to, not the FAQ. Dialogic 2, there's a search for sounds. Portrait and type sound mood effects. Yeah. I guess this is how to change the mood. So this is gonna be like a little, I think the sound that you use for dialogue like this is called a pip. If that cat keeps on screaming, I'm gonna pick her up and I'm gonna hold her in front of the camera. That's what's gonna happen. So let's take a look. Let's just make a placeholder pip. What does Gigi sound like? Okay. I mean, Gigi's a robot. So oh, nothing with effects and like a echo. Can I turn that off actually? Does that I'm guessing that effect happens here and there's a delay filter and restraint. Okay, let us oh, is my MIDI keyboard not working? Hello? MIDI keyboard, where'd you go? It's here. Did it just not find it? I'm gonna restart FL Studio really quick to see if it'll close and then pick up the MIDI keyboard so I could toy around with some sounds easier. I think it's just because FL Studio is has crashed. So this gives us a second of downtime. Okay, FL Studio is officially dead. Let's see. Huh. I could try and unplug and replug in the device, I guess. Where's the thing that shows like devices? Okay, I mean, all right, I guess maybe it's one of those things where I'm going to turn off FL Studio. I'm just gonna unplug and replug in the cable after FL Studio closes and then open it again. See if that helps pick it up. This thing's been plugged in and just kind of left on, so it takes forever for FL Studio to close as well. Wonder if that has something to do with it. Okay, let's unplug this device. Ooh, come on. Ah. Okay, and then replug it in, see if it'll get picked up again. Yeah. Then let's launch up FL Studio. There was something weird about that. It could be a driver's issue. I could just go without using this keyboard, but I got it back. So we're all good now. Um, let's replace this with, let's go to Harmer again. Right? We wanted something. So these are all, I guess, GG could be retro. And there should be an assortment of like a couple of these in varying slight pitches where it's like, right, just like these 3 notes. And these pips should honestly be very short like that. I guess I could change what the series of pitches depending on mood if they're like frantic. But let me start with something scalar in the key of like all the music that we have right now. Sure. Pips, this is going to be very, very short sound design just because this is partially placeholder. But also it's right? These are just a very short series of sounds. Was I really doing these notes? I think these notes would be better. So let's render this. Yeah. Right. Let's cut these up. I guess I could cut these up into even littler bits like this. I'll probably want to cut these up actually a fair bit. That's probably something that's going to actually work better in Edison. Our best friend Edison. Yeah, let's do that. Let's open our friend Eddie. Let's zoom in. I think this guy's already set to snap on 0 crossings, so snap on 0 crossings. There you go. Honestly, it probably needs to be half of that. Pips ought to be really short. Yeah. So we will drag you. Right? I'll probably do the same thing and just grab the first attack of you. Right, here we go. Drag you out. These are gonna be so short. I'm gonna need to expand this a lot. And then what else is gonna happen here? You're here. Let's grab this guy, drag it out. Oops, drag it out here. Say what you will about FL Studio. It's like, oh, it's like a weird like gamer aesthetic of a DAW. First of all, most of them have like weird cringy gamer aesthetics, but this is so smooth. Like that sort of like mentality of like, oh, this should be like a sort of 60 FPS sort of mentality. That makes this so, it makes it so good. That's something where it's like it seems like only when you're working, like when you're making like a high performance game, should you really care about like high frame rates or whatever. But the fact that I can navigate this has been making this easier. Just the fact that this is smooth. I'm just holding the middle mouse button. I could go side to side very quickly. And I have tons of response. It's like super responsive. It's like if, I don't know, if there's some other paradigm, like I could scroll and stuff and then click on this and whatnot, to kind of get like a close analog of this feeling. But being able to be like, oh, I need this sound wave now, and it's like it's so fluid. Um, I don't get that same level. Also, this is running through Wine as well, so that means that there's like just a little bit of overhead with all this as well. Um, I don't know. It's important. It's important to make your applications responsive, even if you don't really think so. Like, let's see. There's no way to like not loop this, is there? Or there's probably a button here. That's okay. That's for another time. So let's export GG's pip1. These should all be routed to track 1. Yeah, cool. So let's just solo that. Render. Actually, I could just export it now. Export as, this is gonna be a WAV. Dot WAV. Oh, I should save this as a project really quick. GG voice pips. Save. Yep, and then I could export it. It'll live in that folder. Here we go. Okay, I will say this is pip1. Yeah. I think that's what we need here. Cool. Export pip2. Pip2.wav. Okay, export pip3.wav. There we go. Now they exist. Let's go over here. Let's minimize you. Is this how easy it is? You just grab these pips. Character, GG, typing sounds. There's an I button here. Vary the typing sounds of your character. They can be changed based on the portrait or with the mood equals something text effect. Okay, that's cool. So mood 1, file/folder. Oh, there's a way to kind of shift the pitch and volume automatically. So maybe I'll just do the 2 and just kind of have that go in between one whole tone, one semitone. So let's go to here. Let's go to sound effects. Let's make a new folder. Voices. And then one for GG. So that's how we could get pitch variation. So GG. And then it goes up one, I think a half step. And then down one whole step. Right? Volume. I don't know how much variation. I guess we could just test it. I don't know what skipping is. I wish that was... Can I mouse over for a tooltip for that? No. Okay, so if I go to a timeline now, or do I need to save this now? Save. So I'm saving it. Hopefully that saved it. I don't know if I have any specific style box things for them that could come later. So let's go to a timeline where Gigi talks and see if it changed the sound. So intro maybe. Let's just play it. Well, debugger went off. P font is null. Where's this? Oh, well, I mean, this isn't the add-on, so something's broken in there. But GG still doesn't sound like GG. GG sounds like a keyboard right now. So let's go back to dialogic. Let's go back to character. GG. Your typing sounds, did they not save? Name mood 1. Default. So, like, I have to assign that every single time. What is mode interrupt? Overlap, await. I think interrupt is fine. Back to the documentation we're learning. Logic 2 typing sounds. Audio. Yeah. Okay, so this is like the class reference for that. But I just wanted to explain typing sounds. Guess I'll just, do I have to put that in front of everyone, or could I set a default typing sound for that character? Right? That's gotta be the case. There ain't no way that they would make it so that you have to always assign it. Add type sound mood. Oh, that's like a lot more variance than I wanted. Oh, hello? Let's go back to the defaults and get a better understanding of just how this works intuitively. Oh, this should be set to a value of 1. Default's 1 here. No, it's not. Oh, why do you sound like that? Maybe pip. Oops. Pip just got imported funny? 8-bit mono max rate. I mean, it probably should be mono. But there's no advanced setting for that, huh? Okay. Condition pitch scale is true. Interesting. Well, that's not working properly. Do you hear that? GG, why are you so thick? Why are you so bassy right now? You know, what's going on? Well, that can't be good. Oh, maybe the star means make this the default. But before I make you default. What? That doesn't sound like the same. There you go. GG has a voice. And hopefully that'll be the default. So I could play this again and it'll just start playing it like that. Come on, GG, speak. Yeah, boy. We're here. That's nice. I guess that that's not like a voiced character, so cool. I would already say that's already kind of like a mission accomplished sort of thing. There's just a tiny bit of tuning, is the volume. It's a bit loud. And frankly, I don't know if what bus this feeds in through audio wise, and how to change that. So settings, there's like an audio setting, right? Yeah, audio bus. Dialogue. Oh, there's already one there. Did I make that? Was that on purpose? How do I make you like soft? So what is skip? Oh, to make it talk a little bit slower. Interesting. It skips every other pip. Or every third pip. Alright, that's cool. So I could probably tweak that in code as well to make them like have some sort of character. I don't know what volume's doing. It doesn't seem to be doing what I want, and the tooltips are non-existent, and the documentation is non-existent. So when I go to audio, I have a dialogue bus, and that means there should probably be a dialogue slider, honestly. There should be sliders for extruder sound is a sound effect. Ambience is technically a sound effect, but I can make it its own slider. Dialogue. Yeah, I'll have to make more sliders for that. That could be done later though. There we go. Well, we've got dialogue sounds. We only have one NPC that talks to you, so. Oh, I gotta do one for the FFBS 2000. Which is funny that it's still called that, considering that stands for Filament Flinging Bed Slinging 2000, and it's not a bed slinger anymore. So let me. That's gonna sound like Metaton. I'm gonna be honest. That's just gonna sound like Metaton. So let's make a new project. Yeah. I can save all that. Okay, let's save this one as FFBS 2000. Okay, and let's just use the same synth. Let's just grab a different sound from there. You know? Okay, swipe away the... It's gonna rain while I'm at GDC. It's gonna be cold. It was hailing here in SoCal last night. That's gonna be wild. Why do these all have echoes? I want something prettier. Okay, just turn off the delay. I want something that's like a fat sawtooth or a square wave. So let me see if I could find a saw or a wave. He's so mad. Strange bell. Let's see. Leads. But like down an octave. First of all, get rid of that and that. These are all kind of built up. I should probably start with the default. Right, because it's pretty close to what we want. Then we add some effects. Honestly, this thing only talks to you when something's wrong with it. So it should be discordant with the rest of the stuff. The little chime should play when it's done, when something right happens to it. There should probably be some sort of echo from the main theme, right? Oops. I did that really sped up, it could sound like a chime. I just like pulled on my headphones and just shook everything on the desk. That was an oopsies of me. Okay, so. What's the tritone from here? It should be centered around the tritone when it's yelling at you of everything else. That's not right. This is none of these stereo effects like this. That's not really gonna apply because I'm gonna import this as a mono sound. Okay, let's just focus on getting the envelope. It should still be really attacky. It definitely doesn't get... Alright, let's just start with that. Let's just do that. Okay, this pattern, super complicated. Super complicated. Let's bring the snapping to 1/4 of a step and make it very short. Yeah. That's our sound effect. Alright, export. Wave. Yes. Pips. Okay, yeah, that's good enough for me. And then we'll also just do the chime while we're here as well. So, so that's, this pattern should be called pips. And then this new pattern will be called chime because we're just going to need it to make, we're going to need it to act like a machine and make like various other noises, right? But what's the... If we played this really fast... Okay. Okay, and then we stretched out. And then make all these back to being short. Oops. Does that sound happy? Maybe just the first fragment here. Yeah, that sounds happy. Okay, I was afraid it was like too dark. Right, it's the first fragment of the melody. Right, so let's put that here. And I think I am going to make that a slightly different sound. This is a bit aggressive. I put you here. I get rid of you. Right? If I did tiny, that and a tiny bit less aggression of like, is there a, yeah. Um, Make it sound more like a bell. That's pretty happy. Probably this is also going to set the character for our UI sounds as well. Or as you get other 3D printers, you kind of... Oh. Yeah, we're getting there. Let's export that. Wave file as FSBS chime. I will make a new project and I will do the UI. There's only one UI sound. Basically just click. I don't think we're going to do anything for like confirms cancels. And it's going to be very similar. It's going to be very similar to what we just had actually. That's funny that you actually don't load the default. I like starting from the default and building off of that. I think you're supposed to be up here. It shouldn't really be a sustain. Delete that. Unset. Should be kind of short. Perfect fifth. Why not? That's a good. Maybe. No, major third. Luckily, it's gonna jive with the music. We don't really want the tones to sing that much. Honestly, there should probably be some sort of noise. There should be a bit of noise. Tiny bit of noise distortion. No. No, not that. Should it be a two-part? I mean, we could copy what Repo did, and we could have the elements in the menu click at a certain frequency. That's always really fun. Um, so let's see. Can I clip this hard? Make this a tiny little ting. Let's do that. Yeah. So this is now UI sounds save export wave UI sounds. Make it so I don't have to escape a white space. Yeah. Okay, into the game engine. Let's see how we trigger sounds in UI. Let's start with the main menu scene. Is it main menu scene or main menu UI scene? So for this, let me see. Let me see here. I don't know why my phone got turned on Do Not Disturb. I might miss an important call. Okay. I guess this would be in some sort of theming, creating a sort of default theme. So let's do a little bit of research and remind ourselves. Godot UI sounds. Every single one of these buttons should get a audio stream player. Connect the sound to the appropriate signal. Play the sound. Trigger sound when the button's pressed. I guess that's a pretty great simple way to do it. Okay, and we'll add that much overhead. So let's go here. Every single button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that I'll probably save it in as a scene. So I'm gonna add a child node. And it's gonna be an audio stream player. It doesn't need to be 2D or 3D, right? Ideal for user interfaces. Let us go over here and then let us also find the assets folder for audio. Gosh, this really can't see anything in there, huh? Assets. Can I like collapse all? Resources, audio, sound effects. New folder, UI. And then let's grab this guy here. Where is it? UI sounds. UI sounds.wav. You live in here now. Boom. Let's minimize you. Let's import you as mono. Did I even do the FFPS folder into your respective sounds? I did not. Okay, you are also going to import in mono. Let's save all this for now. Let's minimize you. I guess dialogic. We already know how to do this for these characters. So we're on GG right now, but we could always select another character. This is a bit confusing. Do I open up a character? I guess FFBS, there's a character. Where's, oh, okay, it's .dch, .dch. So player.dch. Do we not have an FFBS.dch? Huh, I thought we had some timelines where the FFBS freaks out. DTL interfill A. Yeah, oh, we just commented it out. Huh. A to no, so this is harvesting crops. 3D FFBS 2000. Where's this character? Oh, we just didn't make the character. One more character. Assets, resources, dialogue, characters, FFBS 2000. Alright, so now we have that, and now this character gets a sound, and then this mood will be default, there, like that. You have pips, and that's here. And then, how did I do this for, what's their face? Oh, was your wave file like huge? Is there a way to see this wave file, this waveform? Yeah, that wasn't trimmed. Okay, let's go back to FFBS. Does this really need to be trimmed down to like to what it be? Okay. Can I do the same thing for you? Let's re-export these and hope that helps. Right. And then chime. Then Godot's gonna flip out and re-import those, hopefully. Are those too short? So now let's go to a timeline where this character exists. Why does it just play once? Oh yeah, that don't exist no more. I guess that's why that's broken. That's probably in styles. Why is it asking for that though when I've already visual novel text box layer? Oh, is it asking for it here? Boop, boop. That probably should still be. Yep. That error should go away now. Yeah. Cool. Back to characters. You're being a weirdo. WAV file. I don't really know why. Oh, I didn't re-import the new sounds. File system. Godot? Hello? Did I just crash Godot? 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 Excuse me? You're gonna crash on me right now? No! No! Godot! No! Why are you dead? Why can't I minimize you while you're still... Oh my gosh, okay. Cancel. I don't... That dialogue, it made it look like it was frozen. It's just there. Okay, that was dumb. All right, let's go back to here. Let's now actually drag in these new sounds. Yeah, cool. So now your pips should be... I guess I didn't make them short enough. Or is it because I made... Ugh. Is it because this selection's too long? Can I export this pattern then? Let me just export the pattern. And let me make the pattern shorter. Here's what we ought to do. It's default. Yeah, whatever. Here's what we ought to do. We got to do the same technique that we did last time here. We need to edit it in Edison and cut it that way to just guarantee how short this boy be. Okay, so here, what is spacebar doing? Can I render this out to here? Right, these are all going to insert one. Disk recording, wave files, cut remainder. Right, so now there's a wave file somewhere. Here it is. We're also just going to go to channel 1. Maybe I should just save this clip as the pip then. Now that that's rendered out. That'd probably be easier. Will that even launch a browser of some sort? Remove sample. No. Okay, let's just do this then. I mean, that doesn't need to be. It's trimmed pretty well. Right? So let's export it like this. Yeah. Chime. Where does chime happen? Chime. Yeah, and then let's render you out as well. I didn't think this would be necessary. It seems like it shouldn't be necessary. Yeah, okay. Deleting you. Nope, that was the opposite of delete. Okay. Let's do that same thing so we could catch the tail of this actually. Yep, render you out. Let's see how bad that is. Here. Let's bring you back. Let's replace these chuckleheads. Yeah! Let's play that timeline. It gives so much, like, that's a black screen with text. There's so much more life given to when they just have just that bit of extra sound. That was probably the most effective I've ever been with getting assets into the game. And that's pretty darn cool. So that deserves a stretch. That's what my body said. That deserves a big stretch because we did it. We're making the next Undertale. It's confirmed. Cool. Oh, heck yeah. Alrighty. So now, what did we accomplish? Oh, we needed a UI sounds. So, sorry, I took a little side quest there. So let's go back to here. Taking a look at these sounds. Yeah, they still have the same proper import stuff. Audio stream player. We have UI sounds here. Boop. So now this is going to be interesting. I've got an idea. So let me see. This is going to need a script. Let's rename this to button audio. And then let's attach a script, a button audio script. Not there. In the scripts folder. Audio. New folder. UI. Button audio.gd. Perfect. Let's create that. Okay. And then I should probably, I'll connect this up. I'll get this working in this one instance, and then I will create it into an inherited scene, and then I'll put it on the rest. So here's the deal. We have to connect signals for all of these to all of those. Let me just play this really quick. If I turn this up 0.5, is there a way to play one shot? So let's just look at this signal. When this is hovered, right? Or when it's focused. When it gains focused. Let's try and connect this. Oh, should I just do one for the whole scene and just do it for each button? That sounds cumbersome. frankly. I think I'll make it more generic and be able to instance it. I don't think this is going to be an issue. Also, it does support polyphony, right? When I go to this. So I could technically have it play as many voices, as many or as little voices as I need it to. So that's interesting. Also, for now, these audio buses, since I'm not going to be making the sliders for these right away, let's put dialogue and sound effects. Let's put ambience and sound effects. You can call this printer sounds. Dialogue, ambience. Just make sure that everything can be adjusted with the knob, so that if I'm showing this to somebody, they don't get deafened. Do we have an ambient slider? Let me double check. Options button goes to an options menu. Let's see. Options menu. Hold on, let me just check out this and see. We go to audio. Oh, it auto creates those. Huh. Or have we always had this many sliders? I don't even remember. Okay, well, it looks like we have sliders for everything. So maybe this should just go to the master. What do we have here? Dialogue, ambience, that goes to master, sound effects. Okay. Printer sounds is the only thing that doesn't need its own slider right now. That's a sound effect. Okay. Don't need to toy with these anymore. I'm gonna get this one button working, and then I'm gonna take a bathroom break. I drank a lot of water, and I'm gonna drink even more water. I'm gonna get dehydrated. So if I go back to here, connected these signals up. There's a way to play one shot, right? Godot, play one shot audio. You can just import settings, select import, and uncheck loop. Create a new audio stream, blah, 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 blah. I guess it's just, since it's not looping, it'll just play. But did I connect up the signal? No. I did not. What, playing was true? Is that all that needs to happen here? Oh, on focus entered isn't the right one. Button up. GUI input, mouse entered, mouse exited. That's what I wanted. So let's connect that. I mean, I guess it applies to both. I like that. So should I, since this has a script and everything attached to it, what if I copied and pasted you? What would happen? Control C, Control V. Set force mono. I don't. You're doing something weird. You're doing something weird. Why is Control V setting force mono? Am I changing something? Go set for Swano. But I don't want to. Okay. Well, that's somewhat working. I need to use the restroom, so I'm going to be on a quick break. I'll be back. Alrighty. Sorry for that. Sometimes you're making a game and doing sound design, making progress, and duty calls. So had to step away for a second. Had to take care of that. Did get a message 5 minutes ago as well that I will take a look at. Oh, I'll have to merge in. He just merged in changes, my programmer. I will save all my scenes. I'll actually grab those changes really quick. I'll just quit the thingy. Oops. Clear that stuff. Added dialogue, sounds, and began implementing UI as effects. Git pull. Let's pull in Casey's changes. Let's also, while we're here, let's go back to local. Oh, let's go back into here. Local share. Go. App user data. I'm gonna just delete the entirety of this. Okay. That should be fine. Let me take a look at running the game. I was getting he's talking to me about a weird bug that seems to be caused by the audio sliders. The audio sliders work and they seem to save into the global settings file, but it throws an error. So let me check that out really quick, especially since I'm already doing all this audio related stuff anyways, right? Let's run the game just from the beginning. I should probably fade that in. Oh, it also... That's exploding. So... Options, audio... Do that. I don't know, I'll just toy around with these. Okay, options... Quit. I'm getting in... Okay, well, that's different. Which scene is this for? Is that because that's not spelled right? I think that should be capitalized. Really quick, let me open up the NPC scene. That should be wait, no. Oh, this is old. Yeah, I think it's quite literally just GG. Okay, let's replace this. How do I replace? Evaluate selection, word wrap, line folding. Replace, Control R. It should just be GG/head. Oops. GG/head, replace all. Yes, so now that error can be disregarded. Let's see if I'll get an error again loading the changed audio sliders. I wonder if I could get this to actually live preview rather than change on release. Yeah, I think on change would be better for all of these. Yeah, okay. Well, let me let him know that after clearing the user data, it should be good. Okay. Cleared the app data and it's fixed. The error no longer appears. So seems it was just a matter of outdated app data. Outdated global settings file. Okay, that's cool. Let's see here. So now that's like another bug that we just kind of caught. Nice. Main menu UI. Let's go back to the UI sound design stuff. And let's take a look. So that basically works. There's another signal now when it's actually pressed that I want to connect. Is it when it's pressed? Or on button up? Yeah, button up. Let's do button up. Let's be more precise. Oh, Steam is... I should just close Steam. I should turn off those toast notifications, but I should really just close it. Connect to you. Let's take a look. And then let's actually... I want to raise the pitch just for this. So before it, I want the pitch to be raised. Oh, why is this so large? Can I... This audio stream has like a remainder, and I want to actually cut that. Where is it? UI sounds.wave. Can I trim that? Trim. Yeah, that's much better. I probably should have done that for the pips and stuff. That probably would have saved me some time. Less. Okay, let's take a look here. So I want its pitch to be a perfect fifth up. So this is like going to be percentage. This is weird. So I have to kind of guesstimate it. I'll just do the octave. Fine, screw it. Right. So yeah. So pitch, scale equals 2.0. Pitch, scale equals 1.0. That should be fine, right? Let's try that. Huh. Maybe that's resetting it too fast. Hmm. Is there a way to, when it's finished, to reset its pitch? Or maybe I should just make another button stream thing. I guess I could do that. Wait, aren't there audio streams that handle different sounds? Maybe this should be like an interactive or something like that. Polyphonic? Uh Interactive? So I could choose to play one or the other. So I could do like a version that's just higher pitched. Right? There's got to be one where it's many. It doesn't have to be in sync. Let's see. Randomizer. No. Stream generator. Oh, that's like to create new sounds. Kind of like you're making a synthesizer. Maybe something like this. No, not quite. That's more for like radio type stuff. Let's try this really quick. Might as well. UI sounds here, and UI sounds here. And is there a way for me to... Maybe I should just have a UI sound that's pitched up. Like a low and a high one. You know? I'm gonna do this the stupid way. The way that I already had it. I'm gonna do this the dumb way. I'm gonna duplicate this. And then I'm just going to connect the signal to this one instead. So, nodes, button up, disconnect. You're connected to that. Let's see. Can they share a script but take different signals? So let me try that. Button up on button audio 2. just button audio 2 getting that, but not button audio 1. Right? This is weird. They were sharing scripts, but sending different signals to different nodes on that same script. Yep, that works. So now let us reparent to a new node, and I would call this UI sound effects button SFX. And then let's make this a new scene. But sound effects, assets, scenes. Is it UI or is it audio? It's a little bit of both, isn't it? Let's specifically put this in audio. Boop. Edible children so that those signals can still reach. Right? You're still good, right? We're just gonna crash Godot. This is gonna crash Godot. Ah! It didn't like that at all. And I have really dry skin. Okay. Check these signals. I'm just gonna disconnect them. You're just disconnect all. Yep. Disconnect all. Disconnect all. So now let's connect this one to button 2. Yep, let's connect focus entered to button 1. And also when mouse enters as well. Cool, we could do that with literally all of these. Oh, shoot. It didn't save when I created the scene. Disconnect all. I'll have to do this after, or else it's going to crash again. So let me reparent to new node. I'll call this one button low and button high. Reparent to new node, node, name, button, sound effects. Save branches scene, button sound effects, assets, scenes for audio, overwrite, editable children. Now let's connect you. We're getting there, we're getting there. Hello? Okay, these should be connected in a second now. Yeah, no? Let's double check. Yep. So now I could just duplicate and hook those all up. I could edit that if I want. I kind of do want these to be like, I'm going to steal from repo and make it so that they change pitch depending on how high or low they're on the list. So if I copy this, paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it, right? Let me see if that signal's going to connect to all of these instances here. No, okay, cool. It's actually not, that's what I wanted here. Because now I could single these guys up, button up to your sandbox button, right? Nope. Focused. Hold on. There's probably a better, more procedural way to do this, but UI is so one-off, weird edge case things that I'm just doing it manually. It's just easier that way. Okay, focus entered. Connect to button low. Connect. Okay, mouse centered. Connect. Let's test. Just do a sanity check test for all 6 buttons. Cool, but here's the fun part. For both of these, pitch scale is now 0.9. Does that apply to both of them? Yeah, so this is going to be slightly different. Yep. I'll probably actually set these ones to this lowest one will be 1 and look at higher as it goes along, or split the difference. But there'll always be an increment of like 10% different. Right now I'll just make them go down. So this is 0.9, right? This is 1.9. That's fun. Okay, now to do this like 6 more times. There's a lot of buttons in the options that I will have to do this to as well, and that's going to be a bit of a grind. So that's just how that is. That's just how that be. Really quick, let me check my CPU temps because OBS has been killing my computer. Either that, or I need to change thermal paste, clear it out, do some maintenance. Right, back to here. Options button, button up. We know that goes to the options button high. Button up. Sandbox button, button up does not exist. This is wrong. Why is that wrong all of a sudden? Are these also wrong? Did I connect that to the wrong thing? Let's just go to button up. Yeah, I just connected that up wrong. Okay, focus entered. Options button. What is it? Button focus entered, button up, yes. Here, connect. Mouse entered here. Options button. Mouse entered, connect. This will now be 0.8. 1.8. Right? And test. Oh, it's changing focus as well. wonder if I even need the on focus changes then. I guess that's for joypad. Oops, I connected one of these to the wrong bit. Yeah. Edit, you should be on button low. This is why we're testing. This is why we're testing every button, because it's a repetitive thing. It's easy. It's very easy to get those mixed up. Credits button. Can I just hide some of these? So we options, credits. We got 2 more buttons to bind up. Button up. Just be you. Is there a way that I could like just drag you like that? Is that something that's possible? That would have been cool. That would have been really cool. But it doesn't work like that, I guess. Button up. Credits button high. Connect. Focus entered. Credits button low. Button focused entered. Okay, mouse entered. Credits button low. Button mouse entered. I have to like say this out loud or else I'm gonna lose track. Okay, that should work. Let's test. Oh, I didn't change the pitch. So let us now change these to be 0.7 and 1.7. Cool. Your turn. Signals button up. Connect to not credits. Let's minimize that. Quit button high on button up. Okay, focus entered. Connect to quit button low on button focus entered. Okay, mouse entered. Let's put this on quit button low on button mouse entered. Let's change these pitches. What is it? 0.6. 1.6. I might keep the button high the same every time and just the little scrollies to be all silly. Just a little silly quickie thing that we can do. The only reason why I want to put this in is because we played Repo and my girlfriend's like, I like that the menu does that. So now you can just do that. It's crisp. I think you should change focus when mouse enters. There's something with these buttons where they're getting focused somewhere else. Like there's some sort of script that we have here. It's probably the main scene script, but we're good here. Save all. Save all scenes. If I launch the game stock, full game. Start. Oh, sandbox button doesn't exist, yeah. Yeah, that works. Those don't make sounds yet. These need to make sounds. Probably not these. These, but all of these maybe? Um, I don't think these will need to make sound, but I do think they do need to change on drag, on change rather than on release, because if it's loud, you want it to hear it turned on immediately rather than let go and guess. So let's take a look at the what were the things? The sliders and the change focus on buttons. So if we go to main menu .tscene, there's a script here, and then there's definitely focus. What? Huh. Where's the focusing happening? Let's just look it up. Godot UI change focus on mouse entered. Huh. Yeah, I don't think that's like a default thing. Let's double check this. Do we have a UI script? UI sign, inventory. This is not for us. These are dialogic. Inventory. That's also dialogic. So not in add-ons, resources, or sorry, scripts, UI, just button audio. Oh, that's UI audio. Here's UI generic. Printer, pop-up, fade transition, menus, control bindings button, icon map, main menu. Let's close everything but this. Right? There's a script here. Oh, that unlocks sandbox. Action mode, it must be this. You're the only one that was set like that. Where's your focus? Input. There's gotta be a way to adjust when focus is gained. Right? That'd be here, base button. I guess it would be here, but like, not really? I want to change focus on hover. So let's go back to here. Godot UI, change focus on hover as opposed to click. Hover is focus. Let's do that. Start button. Hover is focus. Where's Is the AI lying to me? Hover is focus. Control hover is focus equals true. So if I go back to the control behavior, where is hover is focus? Layout, tooltip, focus. Mouse, filter. I think the AI is lying to me here. Is it code only? Hover. Can you like fuzzy find this? Hover focus? I think the AI lied to me. Hover is focus. You can change the focus on hover by setting the hover is focus option for any control. This will cause the control itself and all focusable children to be focused on hover. But that probably doesn't exist. So let's see. They cited their sources for this. Oh, they don't. It's still open. Yeah, the AI found this. Okay, so people are arguing about this, but this doesn't actually exist as a feature, but it definitely just should. Even if it's odd, I want it. that's kind of how that works, right? Um, because now I have my joypad and my gamepad, or my mouse and my joypad, they are working out of sync with each other from like UX. I get something on focus, on hover. This is hovered but not focused. And now it's hovered, so I'm getting the sound twice. Oh, that one should be on button release. Credits button. Button released. Right. Save all scenes. So yeah, that's UI sounds. There's not a lot of UI in the game yet, but there is oh, there is a sound effect that needs to be played when we're chopping the filament. Also, we got to do some things like footsteps and whatnot. Um, I'm gonna save that for another time. Again, this is like sort of a shorter stream. So don't want to spend it just doing all of that stuff, all of the sound things. So I'm going to move on to some of the more what can we say, workflow type stuff. Mainly toying around with neovim, just having fun with it. So let's save all scenes. Let's push these changes. Commit. Added UI sound effects for main menu. Git pull, because they're working on the project as well. Is that the right key? Push. Cool. All right. So now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to save and close this guy. Save, exit. That closed quite gracefully. Save all scenes. Quit. And we're going to learn about customizing neovim This can go away. This can live with my terminal here. Right, so this is now like a neovim stream. Let's see. So I basically nuked my neovim config. This is all that's left of it. Also, blink fuzzy find is like broken for some reason. So that's very interesting. So that was one of the big issues I wanted to fix. But see if I go to I have this configuration and it's very, very short right now. And that's totally fine. So let's take a look at this. And see why blink is broken. This was from neovim. This is like a big config. I don't want a big config. I want to build just include exactly what I want. So I just wanted the package manager, and here's like kind of recommended stuff. The plugin manager for neovim. And here's what I could do. Since my webcam seems to be very tall, I'm going to crop you so that I'm more square. If I sit up, then I will need to here, I will crop you this way then. It's a reminder for me to sit up. I will scooch you down way into the corner. There you go. Oh, I am a little bit more out of the way. Okay. So this is from the documentation, actually. So for some reason this isn't working, even though I'm pretty sure I installed this exactly the same way from the documentation. I'm gonna double check this. This is the next page, plugin spec. So we're looking at setting up plugins, like configuring their options. Here's the main example. So the problem is the developer of this plugin manager also replaced their sort of starting config. This had neodev as the way to kind of structure the an auto update and handle that stuff for the plugins. It replaced with lazy dev, which is where I'm having issues with the default configuration from there. Lazy dev. Here. Faster Lua script setup. Right? Plugin that properly configures Lua LS for editing your neovim config by lazily updating your workspace libraries. Much faster auto-completion, since only the modules you require in open neovim files will be loaded. No longer needed to configure what plugin sources you want to have enabled for certain projects. We'll update your workspace libraries for require statements, module annotations. Okay, this is what's broken. Blink.cmp completion source. It's like the autocomplete. If you have files that only use types from a plugin, then those types won't be available in your workspace. Completion for module names when typing require will only return loaded modules in your workspace. To get around the above, you can preload those plugins with the library option, use NVIM CM completion, Blink CM completion, COQ NVIM completion source to get all available modules. Neovim types are not included and also no longer needed in VM versions greater than 0.1. So we need neovim, we got that. We need lazy, we got that. Okay, so now this, I have this exact thing. Plus some of the other configuration things. I guess maybe neocomp could be fighting it, but this is what's broken here. Blink completion source. I could get rid of it. I mean, it says it's optional. It could be that both of these are fighting for each other over each other, and so maybe if I were to comment this one out and then go back in, still can't find it. So if I actually, am I at the oldest change? Okay, let's go here, uncomment that. It could be because this requires Rust. Let's see if this will break the other ones. Resourcing your config is not supported with lazy.neovim. Yeah. I guess I should figure out what that means to see if I've configured something wrong. Resourcing your config is not supported with lazy.nvim. I'm calling lazy setup twice. That could be the first answer. So it could just be that it's being called twice. But this isn't too far from the defaults, right? This is lazy dev. Where's lazy? Let's get started. That's all good and happy. Let me look at this Lua file. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I just copied and pasted all this. I don't even know how to type backslash on this keyboard. That's how you do that. So I don't know what local leader is doing. Okay. This is also a good place to set up other settings. Set up lazy vim. Require lazy setup. So it's being called here as well. So is that not necessary? This is a big single file setup. Structuring your plugins. Yeah, this is... So I replaced that with lazy dev since it's technically outdated. Neodev is kind of done. I'm reporting this bot. Spam bot links. And ejected infestation. Spam bot. Cool. We're learning. As part of a spec, you can import statements to import additional plugin modules. Both of the setup calls are equal. So I see that I see both of those, right? By comment out either one of these. Config.lazy is in resourcing your config is not supported with lazy and vim. Let me look at responses specifically for this error. So there's a plugin that has this same setup line is what's happening here. It's not here. Require lazy dot setup. So yeah, I am calling it twice. And it says specifically that these things are the same. So I just open another tab. It's calling plugins, and then in the config, it has set up, it sets up plugins. So I don't need this line since it's already in the config. Yeah. Okay. I've learned. So now let's go back to one tab. Yeah. Okay. So now this is more about configuring, I think lazy dev works, but the some of the autocomplete stuff's not working. So let's look at this plugins table. Can I make the text smaller really quick so that we could just all see it in one place. Okay. So blink doesn't work, but nvim.cmp does work. So we have lazy dev working. Guess we could check health lazy dev. Oh, what's it called? Does that not work? This is working. I'll ignore those errors for now because I'm using a newer version of Lua than what they're checking for, but that should be fine. So this config here with also which key, I guess which key isn't working right now as well. What is it? Lua config. Oh, hello, Aaron1206. Thanks for the follow. I'm guessing there's no just like default Dracula color scheme. I tried. I think it was Haba Max by default. If I do that again, is that just the default whatever this is color scheme? Bootstrap, lazy. Map leader and map local leader. So these aren't working, actually. I'm so glad I have my neovim setup done once and for all. Now I just got to finish my portfolio website. Man, oh man. Do I also have to do the same thing? I've got a long journey ahead. Luckily, my use case for neovim is like pretty laser focused on working on my Godot project, and also having it not only interface as Godot's external editor, but also it's Godot mono, so being able to handle both GDScript and C#. I think that's literally all I'm going to need. Anything else is just going to be a creature comfort. I mean, obviously I'm working with Lua script with neovim, but that's not going to be... The point is to actually not add too much onto this. So like kind of a little bit of background is I think I did use lazy new, like the lazy config. I think it's called this, right? I think I did have this config, and it's huge, and it's full of stuff, and it's all probably really good. But me as someone who's like kind of still not super in touch with like all of the development features. I mean, I'm definitely someone who's in the camp of neovim for Vim motions first, and the way that I can move around singular files and things like that. And I haven't ascended as a developer for things like working in large projects with multiple files and things like that. So there's like a lot of these things where they were popping up in my face, or they were, cluttering up the config. And I was like, oh, this is probably a super helpful tool. I don't know what it does. I've just copied and pasted this thing. So I'm taking kind of, yeah, like you said, like you used NVChat for a while and then did your own config. I want to be able to understand the tools as they're entering the config. I don't want to spit out a giant config not knowing what those things are and having to figure them out through that process. I'd rather start from, I mean, to be very frank, like the pure, just from a functional perspective, or the pragmatics of just stock neovim, I could just use. and I could just get good at using just stock neovim, um, and I could totally get away with it. Um, but I want to, I do want it to build it into an IDE that can help me, especially since I'm working with a team of programmers who are writing tons of C sharp, a language I'm not totally familiar with. And I mean, talking to my lead programmer, them saying like, hey, like I use, like he uses Visual Studio, not VS Code, like the full IDE Visual Studio, and he says like, I'm doing all these things and I'm moving across all these files and I'm picking up all these definitions and stuff because the IDE just kind of does it for me. Um, and so I would like to be able to move around the code base and have some sort of analog to that system. With also having kind of the power of neovim, also me being a Linux user, makes it that maybe I would feel like a second class citizen with something like Visual Studio if they even offer it for Linux. Um, or even like having to work with VS Code or VS Codium. Um, and then throw Vim motions onto that. It just sounds like let's I'm becoming familiar with this tool. I want to commit to this tool and I want to make this tool great rather than like because at the end of the day I think I was like I could also just get like the JetBrains IDE. That's something that could work. It's cross-platform. Linux isn't like a second class citizen there and things like that. But it's like I already use this tool and I'm already sort of developing a sort of familiarity with it. So let's just actually come to terms with understanding how NeoVim can expand to be greater than the sum of its parts. I guess is the way to say it. Um, so yeah, like this is cool. I did enjoy using this for a while, but there were so many things that I didn't know how to use. It started adding a lot of clutter to my process or just the way that I was doing things. So I want to start with something that's empty and too stripped down, and then through that process find out what do I actually need, right? Because having lazy vim like just have a gazillion plugins, if I only actually need 3, 4, or 5, that process will actually like that process of elimination isn't going to be the best for me. It's going to be a lot more of a like I don't know, like I feel like it would be easy to cut down and then not understanding what I'm cutting down rather than building up, not understanding what I'm building up, but coming to a better understanding, be able to just laser focus on a couple plugins. Like, I know Primegen's Harpoon is probably going to be like something I could understand better. Like Telescope. People are like, oh, Lazy Vim, like it comes with Telescope and Telescope's so great. And I never even really got to the point where I understood how it would help me in my life. Or whether I had totally messed up its configuration by just making some changes in the LazyVim config and stuff like that. So I literally just committed this change that this is my config file right now. What else do I got? I've got the plugins file, right? So this is the entire plugins file right now. And for some reason, I guess I don't have Blink autocomplete really there, but NVim autocompletion seems to be where we're gonna go right now. So I will comment that out and I'll leave that out until I find out what works. The leader key doesn't really appear to be working for like which key or whatever, which is interesting. So I'm wondering if I need to source this. Is that gonna do something? Um, and then what is it? Control W down. I could go down here and I could go to E. What was it? Lua. Look at both of these. Oh, we're getting ads in a minute. So make sure to set up map leader and map local leader before loading lazy so that mappings are correct. This is a good place to set up other settings, vim.opt. So is that actually, that should be applying here. right? So either that or my init needs to do a better, I need to specify where this lazy.lua config is. I would think that it was just going through the file tree in a sense. But also it could be that lazy devs, the implementation of lazy dev is being weird. Alrighty. Much faster autocomplete. I guess maybe did I... Let's go up here. Plugins.lua. This is basically a copy and paste of this config. Only load on Lua files. Options, library, see configuration section for more details. Load Levitt types when the vim.uv word is found. This seems to be correct. Optional completion source for require statements and module annotations. This all looks correct. Some reason it's not finding this plugins file from here. Maybe because this folder is sitting in config. So maybe this plugins needs to be somewhere else. So let's see here. Would that work? Yeah, I feel like when this was put together, they kind of expected you to know how this was going to interact amongst each other, but they put them in weird places. Oops, is that all supposed to be lowercase? Oh, lazy dev. So this location needs to be... Is that working now? So even this configuration, I'm still struggling. I think it's actually because of this. This structure is not correct. What is it? Now I've got duplicates. Oops. It should be in here, right? I'm gonna have to change to my other keyboard because my hands are already getting sore typing on this one. This should work. Let me change out my keyboard because I'm not gaming right now. Um, because this keyboard, while I really like it and it's great for gaming, it's not good for my wrists. Give me 1 second. Ooh. Alrighty. Headphones back on. Let's check this out. Maybe also this desk was too high. Oh, microphone sneaking into the shot. And also now I'm tall. Look at me, I'm so tall. Maybe I just gotta actually raise the camera up because I'm too tall. Microphone, get out of here. All right. So it found Lua rocks. It found lazy. So taking a look again. Yeah. This is all in here. Yeah, I can imagine the plugins.lua file existing within plugins, but Is there a guide? That's lazy vim. That's the big config. Yeah, I'll just go back to the original source here. It has to be capitalized. It found nvim.cmp not loaded. So why aren't these loaded? Install. Why can't I load these? Check. So these ones aren't... They're just not loaded because they're not necessary? I guess let me learn about what neoconf is. Neoconf. Neovim plugin to manage global and project local settings. That could be helpful. I think I should keep that around. Yeah, that'll be a good idea. I'm guessing these just aren't loaded because they're not needed in this file, like considering it's a blank file. But now if I go here, now lazy dev is here. Neoconf is still not needed. Okay. Which key is loaded, but I can't actually invoke it. But maybe split. Can I not do it? Edit the Lua plugins .lua. Oh, it's actually the config that I'm looking for. Here, leader. Make sure to set up map leader and map local leader before loading lazy so that mappings are correct, and then it loads up lazy. But why aren't these actually applying? There's vim.g versus vim.opt. One's options and one's bindings. Both use neovim's Lua config to interact with editor settings, but they serve different purposes. Vim.g stands for global. Yeah, so vim.g map leader should apply globally. Vim.op is used to set and get editor options. It provides a more powerful and flexible API compared to vim.o. Vim.op can handle both global and local buffer options. Okay. But I don't know why this isn't applying, because space as the leader key just is not being triggered. Let's see. Does any of this stuff need to change? No, I don't think so. Because even triggering that doesn't do anything. Yeah. What if I map this to something stupid, like, I don't know, like the L key? Does this just need to be moved up to the top? You need to set vimg map leader. Does this stuff need to be just at the top? Or... Oops. Shift O, and then... Oh, that's from Godot. Is that gonna pop up the same thing? Or does this now need to be up here? Which key's working? Mappings are correct, but that's still not setting it. Does that need to be single quotes? Yeah, my space, that's not really working. So why did they make it out of order and provide it like that is what has me confused. Okay, I'm not worried about neoconf right now. That is something that I will get to at some point. Okay, let's go to configure lazy. Here's the kind of layout of the tree. I should probably take a closer look at this. It doesn't say anything about a plugins.lua file. So where did I even get a plugins.lua file? Right. So let me look at what files I need to be toying with, which ones I actually need. Let's put this back where I found it. Structuring your plugins. I think I got that information from here. Set up plugins, and then there's a... So I either use a config or I put an init file inside of the plugins folder. So what I should do here is inside of plugins, this should be renamed. Yeah, okay. That's what should happen. Right? Still doesn't explain why my leader key doesn't work. plugins, this init.lua file is just the list of plugins. Which also includes which key as well as neoconf. I don't know why these are all, they always want them to be uppercase titles for plugins. Is that just a, to try and prevent naming issues? Reloading, changed init.lua. Oops. There we go. Let's see if that's going to do anything. Leader key still doesn't work. Let me type in okay, so this was like an either or sort of thing. This file is optional. Any Lua file inside of plugins.lua will be automatically merged in the main plugin spec. So maybe I should go back to the other way of doing this and actually bring this. I don't like the fact that there are two init.lua files to begin with. So I yank this and I paste it, and then I rename it to plugins.lua. And I go back in here and I delete this. Oops. Is it plugins or plug-in? Okay, it's always plural. Plugins.lua. Lazy. All of this is here. Let's sync all of it. Okay, it's all up to date. It's not getting my conf file, I think. Config. This, I actually don't think this is working. I guess it has to be working. Or else how would it be getting the plugins? Right? So for some reason, this isn't working? That's interesting. Resourcing your config is not supported with lazy. How do I make sure that it applies? It's just when I save it like this? Maybe this is also needs to be changed again. I mean, the plugins are still here. If I go back here. Yeah, it's like half working. Lazy. This is the config of lazy, but map leader not working. It's just not invoking on space. Should this be in the init.lua now? Is that what is this supposed to just be moved? Is that what that's supposed to is what's supposed to happen here? Importing specs, config options, structuring your plugins. Like this stuff is here. And that's what's here. Right? What are plugin specs? It's YouTube video time. I'm not gonna, I want to, yeah. Yeah, this is 3 months ago. Perfect.
Today we'll be installing the Lazy NVim package manager
Yes, we are.
for neovim, and we'll be configuring a few plugins. Along the way, of course, we'll explain everything that's going on so that you don't have to worry about not understanding anything.
That's exactly what I want.
As we get going, we'll introduce
help me understand
concepts that are important to understanding how does neovim find plugins, what really are plugins, and all of those goodies. So before we go too far into that, we need to install Lazy NVim. So you can just go to this link if you'd like. And on this link, it tells you, hey, here's how we're going to be able to install it. So we'll follow the structured setup, and we'll use this as we go forward. This will let us keep our plugin configuration separate for different plugins, which will allow you, I think, to follow along quite a bit better. So it says first to put this require for config.lazy. You could put anything you want in here. I'll go with this same idea for config.lazy. The thing you might be confused about here, if you remember, require is kind of like the import function inside of Lua, which says, hey, find a file that matches this idea of config.lazy. Now, you might think what you should do is just create a config.lazy.lua file. That's not what it is. The dots are sort of like folders. And then the second thing you might think here is, maybe I should be putting this in config/lazy.lua. Almost. The only difference is neovim only looks for Lua files to require inside of folders that have Lua as sort of like its top level folder. And those folders need to be in the runtime path. Now I say, what's the runtime path? Well, we can actually see what that is right now by doing echo nvim list runtime paths. And it tells you it's looking for, hey, I've got our config. And in this case, I'm using my nvim example. It'll probably
I guess I should probably do that check as well.
Our config echo nvim list.
Where's my underscore here on this keyboard?
Runtime paths, and it tells you it's looking for, hey, I've got our config, and in this case, I'm using my nvim example. It'll probably just say nvim for you. There's sort of the installed neovim runtime, some installed neovim pack sort of ideas, and the basically like nvim folder that also things get installed to. So in any of these places, if there's a Lua folder, neovim will look inside of there to load Lua files. So what we need to do is inside of our config folder, we need to make a new Lua folder. So in all cases, I'll just do make dir Lua here. And then if we look at this again, we'll see Lua. And then we need to do basically make dir Lua, and we'll say custom, or in this case, we said config. We'll say config, that's fine. And then we need to do lua config lazy.lua. Okay, so this is basically the file that we said, hey, I want to require this. So if we put in here print, this is getting required, and we save this file, we exit everything, and we open up neovim again, you'll see we'll get this is getting required. So if we edit our Lua custom config lazy and we go back to here, we can copy paste in the sort of bootstrapping stuff that we needed from lazy. Let's go over each of the things that happen here, because a bad strategy for you using neovim is just copy paste and never read anything. That's a bad plan, okay? Don't do that. So here's what we're doing here. This is going to, first, it says, I need to find my lazy path. Now, vim fn standard path. We haven't talked a lot about this. Fn stands for functions. These are functions that have existed inside of Vim, and they're already built in like Vim script land. That means we can call them with echo standard path data like this, and this will return some path that follows the xdg config directories for data. So this says, hey, wherever we have our data path, I also want to look for lazy nvim. And then it checks, hey, does this file sort of stat, or does it have, does it exist at all? That's what this line does. And if it doesn't exist, what it's going to do is it's going to try and clone that repo into that path, okay? And if that errors for some reason, then it's going to say, hey, I really don't know what to do. Let's exit this program and get out of here, okay? In our case, hopefully it's going to actually work. And then right here, this is a very important aspect. This RTP you could also write as runtime path. And this says, hey, put lazy into the runtime path for neovim. Okay? So this is telling neovim to look for files, right? To look for files here. Okay? And we need this because we're about to require lazy, right? So this needs us to be able to find some lazy.lua file somewhere on our file system. It's not going to search every directory on the computer. It's only going to search the files that we have for runtime path. So the thing that we can remember here is, if we look at these runtime paths here, this is going to be different. This is going to be different when we reopen this file. And I'm going to comment out this and this and this. We don't actually need these right now, and we'll come back to them in a sec. So if we open up neovim again, we should see, you might see something like it's re-downloading this. You might see a little messages that tell you that this is working or not. But if we check now our runtime paths, and I recommend you do this as well, you should see right here lazy/ream. So we've now started looking for, and right here, local share nvim example lazy nvim, right there. Okay.
Okay.
We've changed the runtime paths. How did that happen? Well, when we open our config lazy lua file here, you'll see that we actually change the runtime path. We prepend this lazy path to it. So this is how we're able to then require lazy and have it start loading. The thing that it recommends to do inside of here is to run check health lazy. And I do just feel like I should mention, like, I'm the guy that wrote check health for the first time. So it's just kind of fun little factoid for you. You know, if you like that, you can say that's cool. So let's run check health. And we can run check health and lazy here. And this will say, hey, look, okay, it's good. We have a good version of Git. We don't have any packages, and we don't have old Packer stuff that work together here. There's Lua rocks, but we're not going to use that, so that's okay. So we can quit out of everything. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to get a new color scheme, okay? So the way that we're going to do that is I'll show you the sort of like simplest way to start adding plugins to your setup here, which is if we go down to this spec, we can say something like, I want to import here. I'll actually just show you. We want Tokyo Night color scheme. So if you want this, you can go to Tokyo Night right here and install it. And I think it looks pretty nice. So if we can just
We'll do this
this
for
line
practice
here and paste it in. But
so this is basically just going to be a let us try and grab this right here. Read. Okay. Let me see. Not quite. Something like that, I would guess. So if I do that, is that the same thing that TJ just pasted? That's not the same thing that TJ pasted. Oh, what did he paste? Did it change? This must have been updated in some sense. Install the theme with your preferred pack managers, such as Lazy. Or did I put this in the wrong area? I'm also going to delete the other color scheme things. I'm going to leave the plugin checker. Let's look here. Yeah, this is in the right place. The configuration, like this stuff is different. The options are different. But maybe that's not a problem.
Basically what this does is this says, hey, here's the spec. These are sort of like plugins that I want to install. This says right here, here is sort of like the URL. Effectively, you can do a full URL if it's not a GitHub plugin, but if it's on GitHub, then we can do that. And then we can say config, and this function runs when this plugin is loaded. So let's install it and see what happens, and then we'll talk about this, okay? So we're going to do this, and now we'll open this up. Now it's going to install, and look,
Did you
right
just
away,
restart
and then
the
we'll talk
editor
about this, okay? So we're going to do this, and now we'll open this up. Let's install it and see what happens, and then we'll talk about this, okay? So we're going to do this, and now we'll open this up.
What does QA do? Is that quit all? Then, yeah, let's see here. Since mine wasn't the same. Oh, did I accidentally trim a Oh, I didn't put the comma after this. Yeah, let's go back to it now. Now it's loading the plugin. Okay, so that worked. Sync everything. Yeah. Okay, let's see what.
Now it's going to install, and look, right away, our colors are all different, right? So this looks completely different than what we had before. I think the colors are quite a bit nicer, quite a bit better contrast and everything. So I think that this looks pretty good.
Oh, what happened
did that
there?
actually
Stopped.
do, right? What's going on there? Well, what happens is we have local share, and this is probably NVim example for you. This installs a new TokyoNight.nvim plugin which is basically just the cloned repo. So if you want to know what that plugin does, you can just literally look at the repo. That's what's getting cloned down. And if we check our runtime paths now, you'll see
it
right
worked
here
but didn't work.
Is Tokyo Night. So Lazy, the simplest thing that it does is it downloads a Git repo, puts that onto your runtime path, and then allows you to easily run some code to actually load and configure that plugin.
Let's figure out why mine broke. Install the theme with your preferred package manager using Lazy, which I did. This is setting up Lazy. This gives the plugin spec. And then I guess we could configure it here. So if I did something, let me write a comment real quick. Set color scheme. Oops. Detected while processing init.lua. Error while calling chunk packages. Near line 25. At line 25. Error. In function require. So I'm getting an error in here because I'm loading the config and this is like wrong. So if I commented all this, that error won't show up anymore. Bless me, I sneeze. Nope, well, I mean, let's see if I just take this stuff out. Yeah, so let's uncomment this and see if that is going to break it. No, so it was this that was causing an issue? Probably because the syntax is all wrong. So maybe it has to be like this. Actually, let's just get this part. Let's see if it's still here. Okay, let's go back to TJ before I actually set the color scheme
Plugin. Let's pick
to
one
see
that
what did I miss.
I think that the alt and plugin is well night right here. I want to import here. I'll actually just show you. We want Tokyo Night color.
He grabbed like a technically modified version.
Color scheme. So if you want this, you can go to Tokyo Night right here and install it. And I think it looks pretty nice. So if we can just yank this line here and paste it in.
But why did he grab that line? And where did he grab that line from? He grabbed this. I remember that. And then he like hopped around and grabbed something completely different. So that was really interesting. Yeah. So that's... So where would I have found that out from reading this alone? Because all this says is install this with your favorite package manager and then use it? So, okay. He did things, he combined these two steps into one, and that was kind of confusing.
Then
he also combined it into the import of this as well. I wonder if there's a way for me to load this command without it being in the import like that.
But basically what this does is this says, hey, here's the spec. These are sort of like plugins that I want to install. This says right here, here is sort of like the URL. Effectively, you can do a full URL if it's not a GitHub plugin, but if it's on GitHub, then we can do that. And then we can say config, and this function runs when this plugin is loaded. So let's install it and see what happens, and then we'll talk about this, okay? So we're going to do this, and now we'll open this up. Now
you should have explained that that was a little bit different than just what the GitHub repos would do. I guess I could always just do this now, right? But that was kind of strange. What if I did? Would this survive multiple runs? No. So I'd have to... So what he's doing is every time this gets updated, this also applies it using that command. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Install, and look, right away our colors are all different, right? So this looks completely different than what we had before. I think the colors are quite a bit nicer, quite a bit better contrast and everything. So I think that this looks pretty good. What did that actually do?
Okay.
Installs
I understand this part of it.
Down, and if we check our runtime paths now, you'll see right here is Tokyo Night. So lazy, the simplest thing that it does is it downloads a Git repo, puts that onto your runtime path, and then allows you to easily run some code to actually load and configure that plugin. Let's pick one that doesn't just call color scheme, but has a little bit of setup with that plugin itself. The one that I want to do for this is Mini Envim. Mini Envim is sort of a conglomeration of a bunch of different plugins. And in this case, we're just going to do a really simple one for the status.
I'm going to watch this. I don't think I'm going to follow
this part.
So
I'll just quick show you this. But for this case, we're actually going to not...
Where is he getting those from? Are those just files that he prepared himself?
Is Mini Envim. Mini Envim is sort of a conglomeration of a bunch of different plugins. And in this case, we're just going to do a really simple one for the status line.
So he has, this is just his own notes, is what I'm seeing then. He's copying and pasting these. I mean, I guess that kind of circumvents like a tutorial where you have to follow his typing. You might type fast or slow, but it's a bit fast.
And so I'll just quick show you this. But for this case, we're actually going to not put that directly into the configuration itself. Instead, we're going to use what you saw initially, which is this idea of import specs. And I'm going to put mine in custom.plugins because that's where I prefer mine to go. And so if we quit out of here and we look at our Lua custom, we have config right now. Maybe we'll change it to config. We'll follow the same sort of idea that we had here before. I'm going to do maker config plugins. Okay, so we made a new folder here. And
This is me being a bit of a React content creator in terms of like feedback for this tutorial. First of all, you probably should specify if you have something pre-typed that you're going to be bringing in to say, hey, I typed this ahead of time. This isn't what you're going to find from like your sort of stock experience, because I'm trying to follow along with this and I obviously don't have your pre-typed notes. So I mean, I'm not going to need to, but if they're linked into the like into your little course or something like that, then it's like just you point that out, because otherwise I'm trying to configure this. You're bringing me to the like sources of information, like the websites and stuff, and I'm expecting all of that to just be there because it's not being specified that some of the data you're bringing in, like those pre-typed commands and stuff, aren't actually coming from those sources of information. Second little point of someone who's new to this that is getting confused, and I'm not getting, luckily I'm like kind of seeing this as it is this is a configuration and you're showing us how you configure something. um Whereas I think it'll be better to first show what is expected from the creators of these configurations. And I guess I know TJ said like he did check health and stuff, but when we're talking about setting up lazy vim, he's going straight into here's how I set up lazy vim. And maybe it's one of those things where everybody will end up customized. That's the whole point. It's customization. But there should be that sort of vanilla, the vanilla customization experience first, rather than him saying, "Oh, well, they're telling you to put it in plugins, but I like custom plugins, so we're going to do that." And then all of a sudden, if someone is trying to follow that step by step, they're doing TJ's way of doing plugins. And then every time they want to refer back to documentation, say that they're not watching the video anymore, and they're just trying to go off of like the lazy vim GitHub, they now are doing the TJ method of doing this stuff. But that documentation back on lazy vim, you're going to be like, oh, it's not mentioning a custom.plugins folder and stuff. So it's like I kind of see where he's coming from here. Trying to set up this and trying to show like there's like, hey, I've kind of refined part of the experience, but let's go through the experience first, even if it seems like a little bit like too stock or too vanilla. But that's like something that someone like me, a total beginner, needs to kind of be able to refer to multiple sources of truth and have them be consistent within each other. Because I'm treating this, now I have to look at this tutorial and I have to immediately filter out all the things that TJ is doing that isn't also going to coincide with whatever's happening on any of this documentation. And now, as a beginner who's learning all this, there are now two tracks of mine that I immediately have to keep in my brain. So that's a bit of a of a thing to like kind of keep in mind. Alrighty. What else? All right, let's finish off this tutorial though.
Let's edit this. This is gonna error because we lied the last time that we did this because I said I wanted it there. This is actually custom. Instead of custom, we'll call it config.plugins. Let me just yank this again here. And now when we
And
open
he's
this
going so fast.
it will error because I didn't put a comma here, which is an important part. Okay. So now it says, hey, there aren't any things in config.plugins. This is probably the error you get the first time that you paste in the config for lazy. So let's make one. If we go to config, plugins, we can press % inside of here to create a new plugin. We'll maybe do a different in the config for lazy. So let's make one. If we go to config, plugins, we can press % inside of here to create a new plugin. We'll maybe do a different directory sort of navigator later, but let's call this mini.lua. Inside of here, I can paste in what I had before. And once again, you'll see this same idea of here's where I want to get a new file, and then here is where I'm going to configure it. And we're going to require mini status line, and we'll just say status line setup. So once this file's written and I reopen neovim, you'll see, hey, it's working to pull in the new things. It's going to install those. That's great. And now I have a much nicer, I think, status line that tells me, hey, I'm in normal mode. If I press I, I'm in insert mode. If I go to the command line, I'm in command mode. So I think that this is like a little bit nicer of a setup. And so that's basically everything we need to know to get started with plugins. The thing that I sort of just want to walk you through again here is we have this config lazy. You can directly put specifications inside of here to configure things, or if you want to start breaking things out into different files, you can use an import style specification, which tells lazy, hey, I would really like it if you looked for inside of config.plugins for any files inside of here that are Lua files. If there are any files, each
I understand this portion
a
now.
list of specifications, right? So here's our list. We could put optionally another plugin inside of here if we wanted to, you know, like hello/world with some config function here and do something like this. That would be fine. It can return a list of plugins. And so that's sort of the very basics of what's going on with lazy and getting those loaded. And once again, if we check our runtime paths, you'll see now that mini nvim is happening. So that's sort of everything that the package manager does. It's not really that magic. It just adds new folders for neovim to search for, and it usually downloads something from the internet to get those. You can, you know, do all sorts of fancy things with specifying dependencies and locking to particular versions and all that other stuff. That's sort of adjacent to what we need to think about for today. But then after it adds that to the runtime path, most package managers then have some hook to allow you to easily configure these. The reason that I like this style is because we can easily do something like enabled is false, turn this plugin off, and the next time I open neovim, you'll notice my status line is not set the way that it was before. So this makes it really easy in my mind.
Okay. So I've now understood the sort of broad abstract concept of this. Yeah, like it's an awesome tutorial, and I mean the fact that I could come out of this and have a much better understanding, and not only that, realize the potential of what's going on here is great. So that's really good job, TJ. But like the way that what I was talking about before, I kind of wanted, I don't know, I just been watching YouTube shorts of like that Singaporean guy who does card tricks, like magic tricks. What TJ kind of did was he kind of did his magic trick in the wrong order, right? So if you think about teaching something or showing someone something that is in your eyes amazing, so this plugin loader, this plugin manager, package manager, whatever you want to call it, it is amazing. It's super customizable, but you want to explain what it does, like in the sort of boring way, what you expect it to do, and then show off the things that make it amazing. So imagine again, like card dealer, card tricks, like magic trick. It doesn't really have an effect, or it doesn't really get the idea across if a card magician walks up to you and immediately deals out all 4 aces and says, I just did a magic trick and I pulled 4 aces out of this deck. That's like not really a magic trick. It doesn't have like the structure of a magic trick. The real structure, right, is the card magician shows you how normal the deck of cards is. They say, hey, look at this deck of cards. You can see I don't have anything up my sleeves. And it's they fan out the cards so you can see that there's no like duplicates or whatever. It's all like a 52 card deck. And then they shuffle it. And it's like, yep, this is totally a normal deck of cards, and I'm just manipulating it in a normal way. And then they revealed and they say, oh, but I pulled out all the jokers, or there's a card behind your ear, or something like that, right? So that's why I was kind of jumping on the fact it's like for TJ to just like say, oh, I actually want my plugins folder to be like this, different from the sort of standard default way. That's him saying it's really amazing that you could organize your plugins in multiple ways to best suit your needs, right? And he said that's why he wanted it to be he wanted to separate custom plugins where he does probably his intention of custom plugins being its own folder are the ones that he really heavily configures for his own personal needs, and then he probably sets aside like a more stock plugins folder for when you're just dragging and dropping basically the sort of stock repos of all these plugins. um I can imagine so there seems to be basically three layers. There's an infinite number of layers, I guess, because that's how much freedom this provides. You can put in plugins in multiple places in multiple ways. That way you could structure them how you want. So he kind of to kind of like break it down and summarize it so I also have a better understanding is there's this lazy Lua file and it loads like all the plugins and whatnot, right? And you could just start listing them here within this block of code. You could just like go down here and you could say anywhere within this spec like the brackets between spec is I could spec out plugins and it'll grab them, right? I could do the same thing. Okay, let me try and go to the directory tree here, right? So that was happening inside of this where is it, in the config, right? So that everything basically runs in one single file. I could list literally a gazillion plugins. This file would get really long, but it would work. So then he talks about this import plugins folder right here. And so now instead of like what I have here of doing all the plugins line by line here, I could actually import a folder's worth of plugins and just put a bunch of Lua files with basically these little snippets of code. And I could keep on importing more and more folders and things like that. Maybe I could list them out or whatever. But it's kind of like a sort of, I don't know, like a Russian nesting doll inside of that plugins folder. So if I went into where is it, Lua, if I went into this plugins folder, I can make a Lua file that's just for Tokyo Night, and I could just put the little Tokyo Night color scheme in there. Or I could do something even better, I think, is create a new file that's called colorschemes.lua, and then all of the color scheme imports could go in there, and then all of the text editing, all of like the other things. So that gives you like customizable files in customizable folders that let you break it apart by category, by how important they are to you, by what project you need them for, etc., etc. So yeah, that's really cool. I think I'm going to, just for practice sake, make a colorschemes.lua file here in plugins. So I have a bunch of color scheme plugins, or maybe I should do it in a folder, because color schemes I don't really consider like a functional plugin. When I think of a plugin, I'm thinking of something that isn't purely just visual or aesthetic. I know that's like an accessibility thing, but plugins I'm thinking as in functionality, things that manipulate the code, that manipulate my config, manipulate the setup of the program. So I'm going to put that into practice here. I'm going to go back to the lazy.lua file here. I'm going to import plugins. Can I actually list this out like this? Would this work? And then if I went into the Lua folder, how do I make a new directory? Go up a directory. Let's look at the help. Let's learn. What's the equivalent of make dir? With the dmap, one may make a new directory either remotely or locally. So if I press D and then I make this directory color schemes, right? I guess I could do individual Lua files, or I could do a color schemes.lua in here. So how do I make a new file? Let's go back to the help and say file. Quick file info. Make new file. Remove file, force treatment. Make file. New file. Open a new file in the current directory, right? So if I hit the % key, enter file name, color schemes.lua, right? So now I could go back up here. I could lua lazy. Yep, lazy.lua. And I could I could delete that out of there, and I could bring that over here. And I'll probably look at the tutorial again to see if this needs to be structured like that.
Optionally, another plugin.
It needs to be surrounded in a return function, right? So where's my one of these? Oops. So now this should work. Maybe the comma will end up being extra. But if I type in, it will still have it. Yeah. If I sync it, it found it. It found it in this new place. So I could find a bunch of color schemes. I could just trick out my neovim setup to have whatever color scheme I want now. And it actually listing out it like this did work, I'm pretty sure. Let me quit out and try it again. Plugin color schemes is not installed. Does not exist. Actually, so that didn't work. So let me Lua config oops. Fig lazy.lua. So does that mean did I actually just type color schemes when it should have been color scheme singular? No, color schemes. Lua config lazy.lua. So maybe what I need to do is do that. Okay. Now with lazy, it found it. So I just need to do that twice. I hope that's not overwriting it. Like it's like finding plugins, importing all of them, and then changing the import. Like I wonder if it could be multiple places.
Inside of here, if we wanted to,
I wonder if the documentation has that actually. Structuring your plugin. That's got to be here, right? There was the other thing that showed the file tree as well, the little outline string thing. Where did that go? Installation here. Config, plugin, specs. So structure your plugins. I wonder if I could contain multiple folders worth of plugins and things like that. Also, my girlfriend just got home. Hopefully it's not raining super hard. I'm gonna go say hi to her. I'll be back. Your hands are cold.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I remember this stream is short today. But I mean, I got the general gist of it. I can't wait to do more progress on this. It's gonna happen off stream just because I'm so pressed for time. I really do want to carve out this this ecosystem, this neovim ecosystem, and I think I finally have the foundation here with like the lazy nvim plugin manager, actually understanding the parts of it. Thank you very much, TJ. Um, and all the documentation stuff. I'm probably gonna be doing that like on my phone if I'm bored, just out of the house, just SSH'd into this PC. Because all I have to do is type some text. And that's pretty cool. So I'll see you guys. Not tomorrow. I'm not streaming tomorrow. I don't think. Um, and then I go to GDC. I think maybe, yeah, just working on the game all day tomorrow. Prepping. I still need to pack my suitcase. It's literally on the floor behind me. I've got my train tickets. That's super exciting. Um, and all that stuff. Yeah. So hope I catch some really cool people at GDC. Show people a really awesome game. Hand out all of these really awesome little business card things. I think I made close to 100 of these. Um, so I'm probably gonna snap off the little rings that I had for them because those were going to be kind of for them to be like keychains, but I'm not going to do that. So I printed my face. Oh wait, there's no autofocus. I guess I could just manually focus this. I was like, autofocus, why aren't you kicking in? I can just manually focus it. Get over here. Right? Right? This way. These little tags. I'm gonna snip them off. So yeah, wow, the field of focus there is very narrow. So it'll be fun. Now I'm out of focus. And I'll be back in the better part of after the 23rd. I don't know how much streaming of development. I think it's probably gonna wind down and not be a daily thing. This is more of a push. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll stream more games because I want to play some more games. I want to play more Repo. And I actually do want to play more Halo Wars and single player games on stream as well. I had a lot of fun doing that during COVID, despite how terrible COVID was. But yeah, I'll see you guys all after GDC, I guess. Bye bye.